everyone, welcome to another session of Physio TV. Today we have Dr. Prassanajeet Nikam sir, and he is a member of uh, a school of physiotherapy, and he will be talking about his research and his experience in research. So, handing over to you, sir. Looking forward to a great session.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for introducing me. Good afternoon to you as well and to the audience. I'm Dr. Prassanajeet Nikam. Currently, I'm working as an associate professor in Bharati Vidyapeeth School of Physiotherapy, Sangli. I've been involved in sports physiotherapy as well as innovation, IPR, and research domain since the past 7 years. So basically, today's topic would be the overall innovations in sports physiotherapy. So this being a very interesting topic because most of the physiotherapy professionals, physiotherapy students, they by default have some of the other stigmas, some of the other fear about innovation. In this particular session, what I'll be trying to do is I'll try to focus upon how simple the things are, may it be IPR, may it be the conventional research. So basically, uh, the first and the foremost thing which we should start our discussion with is the problem identification, because majority of the undergraduates, majority of the postgraduates, as well as the PhDs scholars, they find this first step to be the problematic one, because the identification of something new, something novel, is something what we are looking for, and that itself consumes major portion of our research study. So basically, in sports physiotherapy, as far as innovation is concerned, so there are specific domains on which we need to work upon. Like for example, there is injury prevention, there is rehabilitation technologies, there is performance enhancement domain, there is sports specific adaptations and psychophysiological approaches. Now, these are a few out of the many unexplored fields in sports physiotherapy wherein innovation comes into play. And by innovation, don't mean that there has to be something out of the box. There has to be something very clever which needs to be done. The thing is, whatever is prevalent, we can better it. We can add in some things which might make it more compatible, more useful for our current needs. That also consists of a major part of innovation. So basically, out of the various fields which I mentioned, out of the various domains, what I mentioned right now. So we'll be seeing each one domain step by step, as in what can be done in these subdomains of sports physiotherapy as far as innovation and research is concerned. So starting with injury prevention, nowadays we have an influx of AI-driven technologies, may it be wearable technologies for performance assessment, may it be wearable technologies for fitness assessment. So basically, AI is becoming a very integrated part of sports field. Now, what can be done is same technology can be incorporated and some protocols or some mechanisms can be developed to see that whether the future injuries in a particular sports can be prevented, or to make the user understand that out of the many things, what all injuries he is prone to. So this can be one domain which can be worked upon, especially in the field of sports physiotherapy. Second is we might have heard about virtual reality technologies. So nowadays, virtual reality technologies are in getting incorporated in sports, especially for feedback-based training, or you can say the training of the psychological components in sports. Because in sports, not only having a good body, not only having you can say form is necessary, but along with it the psychological components are need to be given due importance. So what can be done is especially in rehabilitation technologies, pertaining to the para sports, the para athletes, the persons with disabilities who are involved in competitive sports. So for them especially, what can be done is the exoskeleton design can be incorporated with VR. Exoskeletons are very crucial as far as the parathletes are concerned, because it not only elevates their sports performance, but also helps them to have a normal, functional daily life. So Uh, the current loopholes include that the exoskeletons are more costly, or the operations they are not user friendly. So these are the smaller problems which can be identified, and what we can do, being a innovator, being a researcher in the field of sports physiotherapy, is we can try to make it more compatible in terms of costing. We can try to make the same technology in at a very reasonable cost, so that it will not exert some additional burden on the user. Or what we can do is we can try to optimize its analysis, we can try to simplify the interpretation. So likewise, what existing technologies are there, the only need is to identify them, to have a vision to make them more beneficial, to increase their output. So that is the point of view what we need to incorporate. Next being the more explored field, you can say, is performance enhancement. So sports wise, what we can do is, for example, if we take hockey, if we take football, so sports specific performance enhancement strategies using technology, recent technologies, is another field which can be explored in innovation. So what can be done is, there is something called as a neuromuscular electrical stimulator, what we use as a major part of our conventional physiotherapy protocol. So same, the idea what we are having is NMES can only be used for like after any neurological deficits for muscle stimulation. But same thing, the use of NMES has been seen very effective if we give it in normal athletes as well. Helps in increasing their overall performance, but it also helps in increased proprioception, reduced fear of movement, what we call as kinesiophobia. So such things. So conventional physiotherapy practice, which we are using till now for a different set of conditions, the area of use can be explored and the spectrum can be broadened by making it, incorporating it into the sports field. Next, as I've said before, having a sound body is not only important, we need to have a perfectly healthy mind as well. The toughness parameters, the sports related anxiety, or the sports competition fear, these are all the psychological parameters which need to be addressed in athletes. And that is what we call as the psycho physiological approaches. So in this innovation, what we can do is we can work upon something called as mind body integration or mind body connection. There are some parameters like mindfulness, wherein the athlete, although he might be involved or he might be training in a particular sports, he might face problems from time to time in giving his full concentration or giving his full mind during the treatment or during the training period or the actual game period. So what can be done is mindfulness or mind body connection is something which can be worked upon sports wise. So this is another unexplored field as far as innovation in sports is concerned. So now, basic first step being the identification of problem statement. This is very a lot of the research enthusiasts find problem in identifying the research question or how to begin by identifying the only need what every university, every college needs is we need to do something new, something new. But finding that something new is a tough job. And so these are the various fields wherein we can do our further researches. Now, speaking with how to conduct the research problems into research studies is you can do it through normal randomized control trials. You can do survey studies. You can do case control studies, or you can altogether start with development of new validation, development of new techniques, new devices, new assessment tools, etc. Because a lot of scope is available still in in the field of sports. Lot of things can be done. The only requirement or the only prerequisite being we need to identify it. So, speaking about some of the few emerging ideas, is what we can do is now taping. All of us practice taping. We give for muscle enhancement, or you can say to prevent pain, especially during sports. Now the effects of taping, they are more or less very dicey. Like some say it is very effective, some say it only provides placebo effect. But what can be done is taping. The effects of taping need to be objectively studied. Whether any additional technology can be combined with taping, that needs to be identified. Whether taping, besides its functional use, besides its primary use, whether it can be used in other domains of sports, that needs to be studied. Uh, the main important thing is whenever we talk about physiotherapy, it's become a general approach that we talk about only for physiotherapy related to people who are relatively normal. Like, for example, we don't focus that much upon persons with disability. Disability being a major part of physios, we have a huge role in development, in rehabilitation of people with disabilities. So this gives the next topic, that is inclusive sports. What we can do in order to make the sports physiotherapy field more inclusive for persons with disabilities, because whatever prosthetics they are using right now, whatever supportive tools they are using right now, so it's not that all are perfect. It's not that they need some like they don't require some perfection. So those things specific to persons with disabilities or para sports, those need to be identified. If you take one component and you try to refine it by addressing the current loopholes of the same, then it becomes a research itself. If you are successful in doing something, or if you're successful in improving the, you can say, its total outcome, then it altogether becomes a new product. So not only research will help you in your academics, it helps you to become a successful entrepreneur by taking it or converting it into startups. So the only first thing or the need is to identify your expertise, your field of interest, and then devote yourself accordingly. Now, we can say that identification of problem is easy. Okay, that we can do on our own. We can also do the research. But when it comes to development of technology, we are not equipped with the expertise to develop the technology. So what we can do is we can foster collaborations with engineering colleges. We can have collaborations with software technicians, software people. So because always the study or always the innovation, it's not a one man job. There is always a team behind each and every new innovation, each and every technology. So interdisciplinary approaches need to be motivated, especially in our field of physiotherapy. Now, while doing this, what are the major challenges? Is first and the foremost thing is to get the necessary infrastructure, to get the funding. So, in order to obtain this, what we can do is we can have there are various government policies, government programs going on. So, if at all the institute is having institutional innovation council formed at your institute level, then through that we can you know apply for various government schemes, various fundings, not only for innovations or development of new things, even for basic things like patent filing. The government has come up with policies known as the Kapila program, named after Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So what they're basically doing is the drafting cost uh, up to 100 drafts per institute can be approved, and they are providing subsidies or free funding for the same. So it's not that all these things should be a major issue for us, which might come in our way of innovation. So next thing what we need to do is why innovation? Why we need to move, or why we need to motivate innovation in the field of sports physiotherapy? Because it not only develops you, it not only strengthens your profile basically, but it helps you to develop the attitude of problem solving point of view. So basically each and everything, if you see it as it is, then you fail to identify what new I can do, or why it is like this, and what how it should be, how it ideally should be. So that is the main thing. What innovation does is it helps us to change our point of view. And once you start thinking in that particular manner, once you start thinking from an innovator's point of view, you not only identify the various problems existing in the society, but you indirectly start working towards solving them. So that is the first thing what innovation gives is it changes your point of view.